Yeah, come on.
Yeah, we're back. We're live once again, obviously, because this is the daily podcast. This is the Quarantine Chronicles. It is episode 67. We were
Are you
talking
sure?
something. What? Oh, you didn't even know what episode we're on. Yeah, we're episode 67, dude. Bro, we're about to hit 70 this week. 10 weeks of almost with no work.
Well,
I
the
got
reason
the
I asked,
email
the reason I
master.
ask is because we're recording this on Sunday, and I don't know if you're going to upload this on Sunday, so I don't know if that number is correct.
This will be a Monday podcast.
So you prepared the number in advance, and I just ruined it by asking.
You know what? We're gonna upload this Sunday. Screw it. I already ruined it.
All right. Well, then what day? Then what number is it then?
It's the right one. It's 67.
67. So you said 67, thinking that it was Monday, but really Sunday is 67.
Yeah, episode 67. We're doing this. We're talking about wrestlers, the best times we've met wrestlers. I guess I don't know. Meeting wrestlers, the good times, maybe the bad times. We don't know where this
Who was
conversation.
the first wrestler you ever met?
First wrestler I ever met was. I can't think of it. I don't know. Hillbilly Jim. I think Hillbilly Jim was the first wrestler I ever met. It was so random. I have an autograph on the back of a WWE ad.
We got Breech. Should we bring Breech in to talk about his favorite wrestlers ever met?
Sure, why not? Let's add him in. We'll have a two-part
live on podcast. We're adding Breech in the middle of the podcast. We got to let him know because I don't want him to say something he's going to regret. Breech, we're live on the podcast. Breech, who was the first? No, I can hear myself now.
Why is there echo?
There's an echo.
Breech.
Yo.
Yeah, we're live on the podcast.
Who's the first wrestler you ever met?
Edge.
How was it?
Edge and Christian. Very awkward. I honestly, at that point, it was roughly the first time WWE came to Atlanta. I want to say it was like 2000. And I had no interest in meeting the wrestlers. I just knew that 96 Rock, the radio station, said Edge and Christian going to be at the, I think it was a Ford dealership. Maybe it was a dealership, a Chevy dealership, but it was a car dealership. Edge and Christian going to be there. We're going to have tickets. We're going to give them away. I cared more about meeting the radio people than Edge and Christian. And
did you get a Polaroid?
What?
Did you get a Polaroid gimmick?
No, this was. Oh no. I don't even think anybody did. Everybody just got like an access paper, basically signed by Edge and Christian. And once that was all done, they drew some names out of a hat. I won a ticket. Actually, the people who sat next to me at the show was the son and his mom. They won a Ford Ranger that night from the dealership from going to that thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I went to that wrestling show. Was basically I met Edge and Christian, and then 96 Rock gave me 2 tickets. They gave away a ton of tickets. If you went to that autograph signing, you got tickets to the show that night, almost guaranteed.
Wow.
So what age were you?
I met was Hillbilly Jim at a mall in when WWE had like this weird like showcase thing. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. I don't even know what year this is. It was like before WrestleMania. Yeah, and it was just like
you went to that WrestleMania.
No. This wasn't 18. It was like I think after that.
Rich, how old were you when you met Edge and Christian?
I would say probably roughly 18-ish.
Okay.
I wasn't in high school anymore. I know that. It was now off the top of my head because it was during school. Well, it was during the time I would be in school. So I was in 13th grade. So I guess I'd be 18.
I don't think there's a 13th grade.
I came home with the access paper. I treated it like I was going to keep it for the rest of my life. I probably threw it away by lunch tomorrow. No joke.
That's crazy.
That would have been a good autograph to have now, just to be like, oh, hey, that was my first autograph.
The second wrestler, well, I met Edge and Christian, number 1, 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next wrestler I met would be SummerSlam 2010. First person I met there was Edge.
Wow.
Damn.
It all came full
I think
circle.
my second wrestler I ever met was Santino.
Huh.
Santino, what?
Another mall gimmick.
People always have like these mall things. I remember like back in like 2011 when I would watch like Chris and and Frankie and like the rest of their group like meet a bunch of people at their mall.
Oh,
I remember they met Sheamus and
Eve,
Kelly, Chris
Eve,
Jericho,
Eve,
Eve.
Eve.
Um, they used to like do that all the time. And like we didn't have like many malls out here that did that. So the first time I met a wrestler, I'm trying to think, and I'm almost positive, when like there was I don't know, it was like a couple days before the 2012 Extreme Rules show that me and Justin were at. Um, and there was a Ring of Honor show like the next or the day before, I think it was, and I saw that Maria was going to be there, and I was like, oh, I like that'd be cool to meet Maria. So I went to that show to meet Maria, and I just got an autograph because I was like a scrub, and I didn't realize you had to pay $20 for picture, $20 for autograph. So I told them to eat their
It's too much,
$20
though.
for the what?
It's too much. That's too much.
It's very expensive. Like it should have been $20 picture and autograph. But like I got her to sign the 2009 program that I got my first event. And then I remember like I talked to her about like Chris had interviewed her like a couple weeks before. So I talked to her about that and she immediately was like, "Oh, like yeah, like I remember that." Like she was talking to me about stuff that they mentioned in the interview. And then so that because that was a Ring of Honor show, um, I went over and like I was standing by my chair and I was just kind of taking it all in. Like it was when they were in the Frontier Fieldhouse, which is pretty much the gym. If you ever watch old Ring of Honor and they're in Chicago, if it looks like a gym, it is a gym from a park district. The thing about that place was like you used to be able to like park. You would just like park with the wrestlers, like like it was just like a crazy, like a really nice environment. Um, in the sake of oh, there's Kevin Steen, there's Jimmy Jacobs, there's Rhino. One time, like it just like the wrestlers just parked next to you. And we would get there early, so like we would always be around them and like meet them outside and whatnot. So at that Ring of Honor show, I remember like turning, and I knew who Kevin Steen was because everybody would talk about how it looked like him and Britain could be related. And so I knew Kevin Steen, and he walked right past me, and this kid went up to him and was like, "Hey, Steen, can you sign this?" And then he was like, "Follow me." So like the kid followed him. Steen went to a table, and he stood up on the chair and he yelled, "I'm doing this for free." So this is 2012 at the peak of like he like Ring of Honor sucks, like I'm the best kind of thing. And like basically like a mob of people just surrounded him. And then I ran over there with my like white sheet of paper that I brought. It was like photo paper that I just like brought a couple sheets just because I didn't have anything for anyone to sign. And I got him to sign that.
A loser couldn't buy a DVD.
What?
What a loser! Couldn't even buy a DVD.
Well, I did. Dude, it was so fast. Like I didn't get a chance to like look at the merch or anything. Like I just like got to my chair and then like he did that after like I met Maria. He did that. I got him to sign the sheet and then I went back by my dad and I was like, I wonder if he'll like do an intro for me because I remember seeing Ravi and Legend Killer do intros with all the wrestlers, and so I thought about it and I went over to him. I waited in line. I never got a picture. That's the one regret that I have. Never got a picture. I do remember he was wearing um, I think it was a Kurt Hawkins like change shirt from Barbershop Window, and I asked him. I was like, can you like do an intro for my YouTube channel? And so he was like, "You're currently on HBK Fan 25's YouTube channel, which will very soonly be renamed Kevin Steen Fan 25." And I popped huge. I thanked him. He was like, "No problem, buddy." And like I remember I called like Tommy and I told him I was like, "Dude, like you got to make this channel. Like you got to make Kevin Steen Fan 25 a channel because otherwise like someone's gonna take it." Like the biggest mark that I was. Um, and I remember like I uploaded that and that was like the like the what's it called? Like I was always on my channel. So like when you went to my channel, that would play all the time.
Channel intro.
That was the intro, yeah. So that was like a big deal to me. And then after that I got um, I think I got Adam Cole to sign the sheet.
You have these crappy papers, by the way, still? They're all in the trash.
Oh, dude, I can literally go. I just saw them the other day. I can go walk over there. I'm not like Breach. I didn't throw them away. I can walk over to my drawer, pull them out, and they're right there. Because I also got, and here's another little story about meeting people. So I met do you remember the Bravado Brothers?
No.
You don't remember, Breach, do you remember hearing the Bravado Brothers?
I know the name. I couldn't pick those guys up, and they walked in my room right now.
Okay, so I had them to sign the sheet, and then I met Davey Richards, who was the champion, and I got a picture with Davey Richards. So technically, Davey Richards is the first wrestler I ever got a picture with. But I walked over to the ring as they were cleaning up stuff, and this like they had like broken a table that night. I think like Kevin Steen went through it, or El Generico went through it, or something. So this guy with long hair, one of the ring crew. I asked him, I was like, "Oh, can I get a piece of the table?" So he like broke a piece of the table and like gave it to me, and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." Like I walked away, and then like every Ring of Honor show after that, like the next one I went to, I asked him for like a piece of the table, and he was like, "Oh, I remember you from last time." And then like legit every show I would go to
You
after
have
that,
shards of tables in your room unsigned.
uh, one signed by Matt Hardy and Kevin Steen. But that's besides the point. But like this ring crew guy remembered me at every show, and then when I went to the California Ring of Honor show with Breach, um, that was going to be like one of my last wrestling shows for a while. So as we're like, as I'm walking around, um, like we see each other, and like he's like, oh hey, and I'm like, hey, like I just want to say like like thank you for like that first time you like gave me a piece of the table. It made me into like love this company so much, like to the point where I'm at now. And I told them like I'm going to school, so I don't know how many shows I'm going to go to. And then fast forward to today, and this dude is working for AEW. He's getting
Yeah, you
super
saw him
kicked.
on PTE. I remember that
Yeah,
now.
he's getting super kicked on PTE, and his name is Sean. I found out since then, and he's just a good guy that works for AEW. So
What a
shout out to
good
him.
guy.
And
Look at
then
that.
real quick, so then the next day at Extreme Rules, I was walking into a Culver's restaurant, and before like when I got out of the car, I saw Jerry Lawler walking out of Culver's, and I ran up to him and I was like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" We took a picture, and
Bro,
like,
the next day when I went to IHOP there, down right beside Allstate Arena, I saw Jerry Lawler in the Target.
seriously?
Yeah, it was a Monday.
Oh my God, that's insane.
When I met
And then,
Jerry Lawler and he signed his book for me, he signed it to my best friend Steven.
Wow.
Me and him, I didn't know we were like that. Jeez, man, right then, if he would have asked me to borrow money, I would have given him whatever he needed.
I
Okay,
have a
well,
story. This is Rabbit's favorite story to tell about me.
uh-oh.
So, Chris Jericho does a signing for his book in like 2011 February.
Jessica when he's coming back.
I go by myself. My friend dishes me because he has to study for exams. So I was like, all right, screw you. Isn't Chris Jericho your favorite wrestler? But he's not apparently. So I go there. like I think 3 hours early. I brought the book. I'm waiting in line. So I watch Ravi's videos probably for a year now. So when he walks in, I see him and with another person that will remain nameless. So they walk in. I see them at the back of the line, probably like 50 people like back of me. So I see him. Like we make eye contact for like a second, and I just keep reading the book. So to him, he says he walks by me, like walks, the Ravi scan. He walks up and down to see if anyone recognizes him, so you get a little cutsy. And he knew who I was, and I knew who he was, obviously, because I had probably not even 1,000 subs at the time. And I just didn't want to talk to him because I didn't want to bother him. But apparently, by me doing this and me big leaguing him, he wanted to be my friend after that. Because on my video, I remember when I met Chris Jericho, he's like, "Oh, I think I saw you in line today. Oh, we should have talked."
Well, wait a minute. Don't you make a video appearance before you guys are friends? Because I thought in that one, he like shoots the crowd. Because I thought at a moment, I thought at one time he had us pause a video and say, "This is a goof that lives in my town. He makes videos too." And I thought that's how I sort of knew who you were before I knew who you were.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
I think in one of the videos, he shoots the crowd to basically just to get you in it, to sort of say like this is the guy who wouldn't talk to me even though he knows who I've heard the opposite side of the story. I'm just not 100% sure on it, but I'm pretty damn sure.
From that Jericho signing?
But I remember Ravi watching my video and like subbing to me after and commenting. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a big.
What a big deal. I remember Breech used to comment on people's videos when he subscribed, like, "Oh, what a great video!" I popped huge when
Breech still subscribes to anybody.
Yeah,
hey, I didn't know that. I didn't know that back then. Okay, when Breech subscribed to me, it was a big deal for me in 2010.
Oh, of course. When I got that email, it was a big deal. I'll probably save that email. You think I'm joking?
Because Jericho was nice. Apparently, I had a monster hat at the time, and he's like, "Oh, I have the same one." And then yeah. Pretty nice.
What a good guy. I've never met Jericho. He's probably the one name, and I'm surprised, like, he's probably the biggest name that I can think of besides for, like, Taker that I've never met. That's, like, he's escaped me.
Which is funny, because I met Jericho, like, 3 times, I think. Yeah. 3 times, yeah.
I met Mickie James 1,000 times, which is pretty hot.
Who's the wrestler you met the most, then?
Probably, anybody that was on, like, the Raw crew. Like Roman Reigns, Alicia Fox, Summer Rae. My man Vic, he just knows, man. It's crazy.
I think I met Kofi like 4 times at like Accesses.
Oh yeah, he's there. Yeah, he's on the list. Dude, I remember I took my I don't know what to call him. He's like my cousin, I guess you can say, right? My cousin Michael, little guy. I got a video where he met John Cena, where we took him front row, and Cena came up and talked to him and stuff like that. That day, I took him to the airport, and we ran into Kofi Kingston, and him and Kofi, like, hit it off. Like, that was the first wrestler that he ever met. And there we were, like, front row that night in Stockton, and Kofi came down to the ring. He, like, did his thing when he got in the ring. He slid in, and he, like, turned around and posed. But, like, when he saw Michael in the front row, he popped huge for him. Because he remember meeting him that day and how, like, he was a big mark when he met Kofi. And, like, Kofi, like, marked out to see him in the crowd. Like, hey, there you are. What's up, man? He didn't remember his name, but it was huge. It was awesome.
What a good guy.
What about you, Justin? How many people? Okay, like, I guess this is Kofi.
I think it's Kofi 4 and Jericho 3. Oh, Okada. Okada I've met in 2014, 2015 twice. 2016 and 2018, so 5 times.
Should I tell the Kevin Steen story?
Actually, if you want to count that whole weekend, I met him like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So
I kind of met Kofi Keith.
If you count that, that's 3, 4, 5, so 6 times. I don't know.
When I was at the 31 Access, it was during the Hall of Fame, and it was me and the Boston Brothers just hanging around, and so the New Day went in the Elimination Chamber, and Kofi was signing the thing next to him, and so Big E and Xavier Woods, they were yelling like Kofi, and when like Kofi, or when the wrestlers come down to the side to sign for people, so like they were yelling for him, and so they were yelling and yelling and yelling, and I was standing right there, and I was like, hey Kofi, like Big E and Xavier Woods are yelling for you, and he's like signing. He's like, oh okay. And he stopped signing. He looks up. He looks at them, and they turned around at that point. And then I was just like, yikes! Like, sorry about that, bud. Like, I kind of like interrupted him from signing for the kid. But
at 31, I met Biggie Langston too. It was him and Xavier Woods doing their own signing, but they weren't in the chamber. They just were at a booth, right? And when I went through that line, I didn't have it on all day, but I honestly did have it in my bag. It was the Biggie Langston when he had his own shirt before the New Day. I think it was a red one, if I remember right.
Yep.
That guy was the most humblest guy I ever met when I got there. And he noticed that I was wearing his shirt. Like, I had never felt prouder to be a fan of a wrestler in my whole life. He just was telling me, like, how much it meant to him for me to have that shirt. And, like, thank you for being a fan. And I'm like, hey, I really like what you're doing, but one of these days you're going to bust loose again and you're going to be the man. Like, I liked you before. I'm going to like you now. I'm going to like you after. And, like, oh, man, we were clicking. He would have done any. I was like, hey, in the picture, can you do the eye thing? And he was like, oh, man, yeah, no problem. Maybe he was the man.
when I
So
met when I met the New Day, like I guess 2/3 of the New Day, it was the very like the last like I don't know like 20 minutes of access, and the Boston Brothers left, and I was like I need to get a picture in the chamber, so I just happened to like go into the line, and like I waited, and I was like they cut off the line just after me. I was like okay, that's good. So I went in there. And I was like, I immediately was like, hey, can we like throw up the two suite in the picture? And they like the picture is like one of my favorite pictures from that weekend because they were like excited to be a part of this picture in the chamber and like, throw up the two suites and stuff. So that was like one of like that's why I like them so much because like of that moment right there.
so who's the best? Who's the best wrestler you ever met? Like not the best, like the most, like the nicest. Because for me, definitely it's Roddy Piper. Like
Oh,
he
dude.
was like, "How are you doing?" Like he's like asking you about life.
Yeah, ask you how your
Like
dad's doing. How's your dad doing, man? You give him a call lately? Like,
he's like, "What do you want me to sign? Let's take this picture." I wasn't even getting a picture with him. He was like ready to take a picture with me. Like, "Oh no, I just got like autograph."
Oh, you should have just did it. You Kenny Omega.
No, I was literally about to do it, and the guy was like, "Oh, he just got an autograph." And I was like ready to pose and everything. Like, Gravity has it on video.
Oh.
I got taken aback. Like, "Oh, we're doing this." Like, all right. Yeah, but Roddy Piper definitely one of the nicest wrestlers I
What
ever
about you,
met.
Breach?
off the top of my head, I know Mickey James is always as nice as could be. Matt Hardy didn't kick my ass after the whole Waffle House Shooters thing, and I got a picture with him at Wrestle Arena, and he definitely knew who I was, but I could tell didn't want to talk about it. I don't know, man. Those are the two that come to my head, but I mean, like, Alicia Fox, she always remembers me from the Doritos thing. Um, Summer Rae is really, 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 really nice. I'd say she's one of the nicest divas I've ever met in my whole life. Most of the divas are. If you like don't be that sleazy dude and you just try to be wrestle fan, they'll be nice to you.
Like Natalia was nice to me this like SummerSlam. Dana Brooke was super nice.
Well, Mike was there. Mike noticed this. Like Victoria, like we weren't paying attention to them, but when we were at WrestleMania 31, the night that we were all hanging out, Victoria was just hanging out in the lobby like she was a mark with all the other marks, and she was just trading wrestling stories with wrestling fans, and like they were just like tell her like like they would bring up a topic and she would just talk about it, like she would just tell them everything, and
I
then like
remember
she was
that.
taking pictures with everybody, and then she'd always be like, I'm gonna get in so much trouble, like hurry up. Like I guess that's part of your WrestleCon deal is that you sign something saying you're not gonna take pictures for free or something like that, but
That makes sense.
couldn't resist.
So I mentioned Kevin Steen earlier with the video, like the intro, and then like a follow up in the next show. I got a picture with him finally, and in the picture he like sticks out his tongue like as a joke, and like that's always been like like one of my favorite pictures just because of like how funny it is that he did that. And then when I made the Weekend Escapades logo and I emailed it to him, and he was like, "Oh, like I'll for sure use this," because I was like, "I made this, like I love the videos, like I made this for you, feel free to use it." And like I have the email saved, which is cool. So when I went to later that year, he was coming to AAW, which is like the local wrestling promotion here. So
AEW?
AAW,
Okay.
and so it was in like the really small venue or like the really small uh, Eagles club that they ran, and so I went up to him and I was like, hey, like, I'm the one, like, I had, no, I printed out the logo. I printed out the Weekend Escapade logo. So as I'm walking up, like, he immediately was like, hey, like, you're the guy who made it. So he was like, hey, I got to film this. So he pulled out his phone for the video. And, so he like, cause Colt Cabana's next to him. And he's like, all right, well, I think Colt like intro it. He was like, I have a guy in, what's it called? Wherever, and like and then he was like, and say your name, and I was like, oh, it's Mike, and he's like, Mike from where? And I was like, Huntley, and I was like they didn't know, they never heard of that before, so they said, oh, it's Mike from Huntley, Illinois, and so Kevin was like, oh, I'm gonna like like holds up the logo. I'm gonna put this at the beginning of the episode. And so I was like, do you want me to put on my mask? And he was like, no, I like your face better. So um, after that, like I said, I was like, hey, can you sign this for me? And he was like, oh, of course. Like he signed the like little 8x10 that I had for him of like the logo. And then I asked him, I was like, how much for a Mount Rushmore shirt? Remember Mount Rushmore when it was him, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole? So it was a black and white Mount Rushmore shirt. Honestly, to this day, one of my favorite T-shirts because I was a huge fan of the Young Bucks, huge fan of Adam Cole at the time, which is funny to see where all those guys went now. So I asked him, I was like, how much for a Mount Rushmore shirt? And he was like, for you, buddy, it's free. And I was like, oh, dude, like that, like, thank you so much. And like after the show, I like thanked him again for that. And then fast forward to him getting signed with WWE and me going to WrestleMania 31. I waited an hour and a half on the Sunday of the Access before WrestleMania. I waited an hour and a half to meet Kevin Owens, I guess, at the time. And he was getting rushed. It was him and Tyler Breeze. They were getting rushed for some reason. I asked the security guard, why are they getting rushed? And she was like, oh, they got to go, like, they got a match tonight. And I was like, hold on. Like, no, they don't. Like, unless you're telling me something that I don't know, no, it doesn't work that way. So I get up and go. And like as I'm going up the stairs, he's like, "Oh, hey, buddy, like how you been? Like, how's it going? How you enjoying the weekend?" And then I told him I was like, "I just want to say, like, the day that your shirt came out, like, the WWE shirt came out, I bought it so I can like repay you for the shirt that you gave me, X amount of years ago or whatever." And he was like, "Oh, like, like that's awesome. Like, thank you so much. Like, I'm glad that you're here, whatever." And then I was like, "Hey, can we throw up the Too Sweet in the picture?" And so he's like, "Do you want Tyler in the too?" And I was like, "Of course." And so like I got this picture of him with the NXT title, and like it was just one of those things where it's like the fact that he like remembered who I was before I even like had to explain. You know how like sometimes like someone just like knows, like,
it's like
you don't have
Miguel
to
knows
say.
the Briscoes.
Yeah, like they just like know. Yeah. So
They start talking about Raiders.
yeah, and I remember rapping when he met the Briscoes too.
I remember meeting Steen. It's funny. I've been to so much ROH shows. I never met Steen, and then when I go to New Orleans, I go meet him, which makes no sense. And then I go up to him, and he's like, I don't remember what we talked about, but I give him the Final Battle DVD and the PWG DVD, and Generico signed it like 2 years ago, and now he's not Generico. Obviously, he's Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me. He's like, "Where did you get these?" I'm like, "Oh, I got them signed like 2 years ago." He's like, look at me like he's like, "Oh, like." He's like, he couldn't believe it. Like, I just brought back something from the dead or something.
That's funny. Yeah, he's a great. I mean, he's definitely like. I mean, he's like the best. Like words can't describe how awesome of a person Kevin Steen is. Like, and then yeah, I don't know. I mean, Shawn Michaels was nice when I met him.
Shawn Michaels is a good guy.
He wanted to talk to me, and then the security was rushing us. He wanted to. He was very invested in my story that I had of my school project, and then like the guy was like, "I didn't wrap it up," and I was like, "You know what? Like Shawn Michaels is talking to me, so calm down, guy."
Listen
like,
here, fucker. This is my hero, not yours.
I waited like 4 hours for this.
So yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's meeting wrestlers. So leave in the comments any wrestlers that you met and stories, and that's it. So we'll talk to you again
after a while.